What's up, folks? Casual Dad here, and today we're going to talk about our brand new 400 deck point mode, Apocalypse. So you see, this is the landing page. You just click this handy dandy arrow over here, and Apocalypse mode. Aha. This is something the developers have been teasing for a while, and so it's pretty exciting. It was very quietly released last week. I didn't see any official announcement about when it was going to come out or what was going to be in it, so they just sort of did it. And since then, I've sort of sat on it, I've played a little bit of it, and just wanted to kind of get a feel for it before I went ahead and said anything about it. So, of course, it's 400 deck points. That is the only modifier as far as I'm aware. I believe you do get maximum deck points and your full 8 bodyguards, so even if you're a brand new player, you should be able to get that. But if a newer player could check me on that, that'd be great. But long story short, a couple quick things I was really worried about. I was worried that this would be really punishing to newer players. If it doesn't give you full deck slots, that would be punishing. But otherwise, it's actually not bad. A couple things, though. So you don't have to have super heavies to succeed in this. It's actually fairly easy to fill up 400 deck points without anything over 40 points. You just need 8 cards somewhere in the 40-point range, and you'll be pretty close with a Warlord. And yeah, if you throw in some 60s or 70s, of course, that changes the metric. So looking at this, I don't have anything crazy expensive and could shuffle this around, replacing the 17 and the 18 with like 30s and go down on the 70 here. Yeah, so I really enjoy it. And one of the challenges of playing standard ladder is that it is actually a little bit tough to squeeze everything you want into a 200-point deck. So that's one thing. Another thing I was concerned about is that this isn't ladder. So it's just whoever's playing whenever they're playing, you kind of get matched. There's nothing obvious telling us how matches are decided. In my personal experience playing this, that has meant that the matches are quite easy. I'm going to go ahead and try that. In most cases, the decks I've played against are trait rank level 2, which I would consider kind of under-leveled compared to me, where most of my cards are trait rank level 3. And that's primary trait, not secondary trait on those legendaries, and I'm not even at the point where most of my epics have secondary traits. So right there, that's rank 1. And level 1, wow. So you're seeing some fairly newer players get into this, which is cool. And don't seem to be having any trouble here. Okay, level 5, not bad. And again, so I've been really enjoying it. It's been fun. It's otherwise exactly the same as the standard ladder mode. Again, there is no ladder progression on this, so you don't get that, but you do get kill packs for wins, and you do get your progression in the battle pass, and then also the kill packs. So you do get both of those as normal, and there's kind of an edge on this because you basically guarantee that you're running into full decks. You're not going to see anywhere near as many decks that are under the full number of bodyguards, so you're a lot more likely to actually progress in the battle pass. Whereas if you are playing in ladder, you could run into a 4-card deck, and that just completely halts your progression. So that is nice. I appreciate that. Let's see what the timing on this is. Yeah, I got him before he bounced. And then I actually don't know if he still will bounce because of... He does not. Ooh. Okay, so that's good to know. I actually wasn't aware of that, where if an Endless card gets a kill in a Lilith deck where it would normally bounce back to their hand, it does not if it is the second copy of an Endless card where the copy that got the kill is bounced back. Hopefully that made sense because you just saw it happen, But yeah, so again, I've enjoyed it. It's been, again, fairly easy. I don't know how the matchmaking is going to progress for this. I'm sure there are future plans to kind of tweak and adjust this somehow. Yeah. I'd originally assumed that to deal with the challenge for new players, there would be a modifier where you play with maximum deck points, where you play with every card at max level or maybe a level cap. That's not the case. Again, had me a little bit worried that this would be punishing for newer players, but really doesn't seem to be. I think this should be a pretty fun and challenging experience for basically every player who's playing the game. So that's nice. And you get to bust out more of your cards, and it's a little bit more forgiving than unranked. Because unranked, there is some matchmaking, but it can be a brutal hellscape for new players there. So this is better on that count. And then also... Oh, what was I looking for? I was going to say something and then got distracted by all the flashing lights. Of course, the game speed modifier does apply here, which is impacting my ability to talk. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we played that. I'll go through and I'll play one more game just to show another deck that I'm using. Yes. So for newer players, this should be much less punishing than unranked. That's kind of what I was getting at. I more or less said that, but yeah. Now, so you saw me play Logan. Another thing I really enjoy with this is you actually have the points to make a themed deck. So you got Logan Grimnar, and then another obvious one is your Grey Knights. So Voldus down here, you can actually run a themed deck, and it's kind of fun. And we're going to go ahead and run that. Where'd you go, Voldus? I have not noticed any Warlord restrictions, so everyone is available. There you are. God, you're expensive. So there we go. Of course, you couldn't do all Grey Knights all the time because, you know, don't have quite enough points to do it. So I threw in a couple of Psyker Blood Angels. But they're bros, right? The Grey Knights aren't just going to kill all the Blood Angels who saw them. Friendly reminder that Space Marines are the protagonists of the 40k universe, but they are not good guys. Moderately better guys. But I would be curious to see the actual metrics on how many Imperial citizens the Space Marines have actually randomly killed. Maybe I don't want to see that. Never mind. We'll get out of that. Anyway. Yeah, really been enjoying this. It is really fun to play the bigger decks. And here in the second match, I'm seeing rank 1 traits. So I do think the matchmaking is... I don't know if it's doing it intentionally or if it's just the people who are playing this. Maybe it's mostly newer players playing this because ladder can be quite difficult for newer players. Or if that's just them making the matchmaking somewhat easier just to try it out. But yeah, it's been very forgiving. I have yet to have a truly challenging match or a super heavy pop-up at all. Oh man, and that was just a 4-card deck. Okay, so it may be that new players don't get the full deck points or they were trying to get that Greyfax bonus. Greyfax does have a... Let me see what I have for Greyfax. I had some fun playing with a Greyfax deck with this max level bonus. I think I actually did something weird. Lag. There we go. Of course I did something weird. It's Greyfax and it's me. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. So let's try this. This is actually my ladder deck, but it's with a much higher bonus in the 400 deck points. Just because you have the more points you can leave unspent, so you can have more expensive, more powerful stuff in there and get a higher bonus. Ooh, that is an unfortunate matchup for a 3-card deck. Okay. And this gives me, in 400 deck points, this gives me a 70% buff using all of my Psykers. Which, as you'll see in a moment, is quite meaningful. They're rolling in there with greater demon stats. I do believe in my ladder deck, I also have an Inspiring Presence card in there just to kind of balance... Ooh. Oh, yeah, it's going to suck. But still, it'll take a minute. And we can spread that out a bit. It's going to be comical. This could turn on me real quick in the last couple card drops. But again, it's a lower ranked player. So this should be a... Not lower ranked, excuse me. A lower level player. And I honestly really appreciate seeing that. Just because that means that a lot of players who are newer are trying this and maybe, hopefully, finding some success at it. That is my maximum 3. You're going to go down quick. Except there are only 2 cards left. So that is the part I wanted to make. So this is the first time we've had 400 deck points with your own decks without any modifiers that's not in a campaign. So there's not a time stretch because of the campaign. There's not a actual game stress because you're waiting in synced PvP against another player and risking a timeout. It has all of the kind of zen, relaxing qualities of standard play, but just at 400 deck points and playing against other people. So I'm pretty happy with it. I really like the way it rolled out. The things I was worried about have not been a problem so far. The opposite, the only possible issue I have right now, there are 2 possible issues. Number 1 is there's no real progression aside from your kill packs. There's no ladder, there's no nothing on that. And number 2 is that the matches I am finding are not terribly exciting, just because they're not very challenging for the deck level I'm bringing. So I don't know what kind of matchmaking is planned for this or what's going to go on in the future, but those are the things that I would like to see added. Some sort of progression. Not necessarily a ladder, we don't need that, but something. Maybe even like a daily reward for playing an Apocalypse game. Something to like encourage you to play this and play it where you're not losing out on the rewards of campaign play or the base ladder. So anyway, hopefully that's fun. I've been really enjoying it, and let me know your thoughts about Apocalypse mode. Ooh, actually, excuse me. Let me check out a couple quick decks I put together. Tolmaron is an obviously extremely powerful choice. Yeah, because you can just load up all the biggest shooters and some Medicae. I would not use... I really don't think that Well, let me kind of highlight my tops. I won't bash on the ones that I think are bad. Tolmaron's an excellent choice for this. And this is one where it's 400 deck points, so you're looking for your percent-based buffs. So Artemis is extremely good because you're going to have a lot more expensive high-health cards. Glogothrog's not good. Tau are just good in this because you can just load with stuff. Onva is really fun in this deck mode where you can throw forward. Like, look at that. All of these have a ton of hit points and just load up on attack values the whole game. So that's a really fun one. Zagstruck, still good. Same reasons. Cannon S, same reasons. Etalk is actually pretty good because you're going to see more legendary and rare cards. It is challenging to fill up Votann with the full deck points. I'm not sure if I did. I'll try it. So it's challenging to fill up a Votann deck, but if you do, they're still good. They just have basically no advantage between 200 versus 400 deck points. They could have more cards, but since most of it's going to be cheaper cards, unless they're leveled fairly highly, it's not going to be great. Lilith, of course, is terrific at this thing. The Parasite is awesome in this. Being one of my favorite warlords and being able to take all of the punchy stuff just feels good. Of course, Helbrecht is still very good. Acheron, of course, is an easy one. I would say actually stocks down on Badruk. Badruk is particularly bad in this one because he relies on taking out injured or weak cards. And even with the most powerful orc cards out there, he's just going to get kills more slowly than he does in Standard, so that will slow him down quite a bit. So Badruk should be less of a problem to play against and less powerful to play as, relative to what you're kind of used to. You can really have fun with Azrael here. You can do like a full-on Black Legion brawler with Abaddon, although he'll spend less time on the board, so it won't be as big of an advantage, but fun and thematic. We already saw Voldus. I will say Mozrog, I haven't tried him. I have mixed feelings about him. So you will get more benefit from the health gain because you can put cards with more health in here. But you will lose a bit because most of the cards you're going against should hit harder than they do in kind of standard play. So he's kind of an iffy one. Likewise, the Turbigon rewards you for having a thinner deck and not taking your max number of cards. So it's going to suffer at 400 deck points, just in general. Swarmlord good. Avatar is amazing. The Avatar is insane on this just because you can load up so many beefy, punchy cards. His trait matters less just because the cards you're putting in start with higher attack stats, but look at that. That is just a bananas deck and is very difficult to deal with. So he's a great one to put out there. Eldrad is kind of fun. Just, of course, you can actually put all the stuff in here. Ooh, I haven't done it. I did it somewhere, but I don't remember where, so I'll try that again. Anyway, I've talked too much. That was it. Hopefully this was fun, and let me know what you think about the Apocalypse mode.